Are you stuck in a leg day rut? Well, stay tuned because today I got 5 leg exercises utilizing one of our favorite tools to help you blast through plateaus. All right, first up, I'm gonna show you a creative way to do some heavy squats with the Nexus Pro Bar from Lunge Fitness. We're gonna be doing some Zerker Squats. So the way that I like to set this up is to string a 41-inch band between the 2 carabiners on the Nexus bar. And then I'm also using the foot plate from Lunge Fitness to really take up some of that slack. And then I want to show you one more thing that's really going to help this exercise to be comfortable. This is a pad that we're working on right now. It's 2 feet long, so it's got plenty of room to get your arms on it for the Zerker squat. It's pretty easy to just pop right onto the bar. And it's got a nice leather outer shell, and then a big Velcro closure to kind of close this thing up. To set this up, like I said, put this bar centered on the center channel with a band, and then you're gonna step underneath of it, and then we're gonna load this bar up onto our legs. So we're basically gonna like deadlift this thing, get it up into our hips, and then we're gonna squat down so that we can get underneath of it and hook our arms in our elbows. This is where that pad comes in because it makes it super comfortable. So now we're into the squat position. We loaded it up. We're gonna brace and squat it up, holding it with the elbows. And now we can just do Zerker squats. So this is a good way to load yourself up into some heavier squats that you can actually get out of once you fail. Basically unloading it same way. You just set it down and it's that easy. I love doing Zerker squats, especially with this pad because it's comfortable. And like I said, it's something you can load up safely and do heavy squats. One more quick tip on the Zerker squats. With the Nexus bar, you have the ability to add plates on the outside to help raise that bar up off the ground. They don't even have to be heavy plates. But what's cool about it is you can do full customization, right? If you want more resistance at the bottom, you can add more free weights. If you want more resistance at the top, add more bands. And this just makes it a lot more comfortable to get into because now this bar is up off the floor. I can lift it up, get underneath of it, get myself set, do my sets, and then when I drop it, I can just kind of like let it go down to the floor and not have to worry about it hitting my feet and stuff like that. Next up, we got another one of my favorites, which is just a classic lift. We're gonna do some deadlifts. And again, we're gonna utilize that Nexus bar. And what's sweet about this is the ability to put free weights on the end so that that bar starts in a very similar position as if you were using free weights, but it's very compact and you can stack bands on it to get high resistance without all of the mass of the free weights to save on your joints. And it's also just, you don't have to have very many free weights at all at home because you can use so much of the band tension to give you that heavy resistance. And again, training legs, blasting through plateaus, one of the big driving factors is resistance. You need to progressively increase that resistance in order to gain strength and gain muscle. So every week you should be trying to beat whatever you did last week in the resistance level. And that can be challenging when you're training at home. So that's why I'm trying to show you this exercise with the Nexus bar because it allows you to get higher resistance. So setting this up, super simple. We got that same configuration. We got a band, we got a couple of plate weights on the end to get the bar up, getting your shoulder width stance. And then I like to grab just outside. You can change your grip up, whether you're doing overhand or, flipped grip, one's over, one under, whatever's comfortable. And then we're focusing on dropping that butt. And then when we come off the floor, we're engaging our lats, pulling those lats back, and then thrusting up, pushing those hips forward, keeping that core pulled in tight. On the way down, the bar drags right down the front side of your legs. And this exercise with the bar is super comfortable. And you can just load this thing up as much as you want, and it feels really great. Next up, we're gonna do a posterior chain exercise. We're gonna hit some RDLs, which is very similar to a deadlift, except we're gonna be pivoting at the hips. So of course, we're gonna be able to use that same setup as we did for the first couple exercises. I love using the plates here because it gets that bar up off the floor, and then I can use band tension for the rest of it. Setting it up just like a deadlift, get that shoulder width stance. You're gonna bend over to the bar, Get your grip just outside your legs. Everything nice and comfortable. We're gonna lift it up. And now this is a hip hinging exercise. So it's not like a deadlift, but we're gonna be pivoting. What I like to say is stick your butt out. That's the first thing that you're gonna do is break at the hips, pull your core in, and then let that bar come down the front side of your legs. And you're sticking your butt out behind you. And that's gonna give you a big hamstring stretch. You're gonna go down as low as you can get it before your back starts to hunch. Usually it's at about a 90-degree angle. Big stretch in those hamstrings. And then you're just gonna pause for a second and then exhale and start pushing back up, thrusting those hips forward. And then stand up, squeeze the glutes, and then start another rep. This one is a control exercise, so we're not doing anything fast. We're gonna pause at the bottom in that stretch position and then start really slowly. Don't jerk it up because obviously that's where you're gonna start injuring your low back and things like that. It's all about control here, fighting that tension, exhaling, big squeeze, and control that tempo. This is gonna get your hamstrings fired up, glutes will be pumped up, and of course I'm sweating. All right, next up we're gonna do some single leg stuff to get some more hamstring, glutes, and quads. And we're gonna do something with a little twist. We're gonna do a reverse lunge with a deficit. So to set this up, all I did, I took the 2 plates off of the end of the bar, stacked them up, and it's a few inches of deficit. That's all you really need to really feel extra range of motion in this exercise. And setting this up, grab your bar, make sure you got the right tension band here because we're going down to a single leg exercise. You're gonna hook that one half of the band right around the inside of your foot here. Other half is up towards your hands. And now all we're doing is getting down into our lunge position here. Roll that bar up right onto your front delts. Standing up. We start with our legs, both of them on the plate, and then you're gonna lunge backwards, down, get that knee, just kiss it off the floor, don't ram it into the floor, and then come back up. One fluid motion. Big squeeze. Control it on the way down, squeeze it on the way up. And you'll really feel that extra deficit range of motion. It's gonna get you more knee flexion, more quad engagement, and this is just a great exercise. Last exercise, we're gonna do some seated calf raises because your calves are part of your legs, so don't forget that, don't neglect them. And this setup right here is another one that I just love because it's comfortable and you can really load it up. So what I have is the Nexus bar underneath of a foot plate, and I'm using the side channel here so that I can get my heels off the end of the platform, and then loading this up. Obviously there's a little counterweight here to keep the plate from popping up when I sit down. I stand on the plate, hang my heels off, and then I just sit back, pull this bar up right on top of my knees, and then I can just kind of hold it from rolling. I'm using this nice barbell pad. You don't need it, but it definitely makes it more comfortable. And then I like to scoot my feet back so that only the balls of my feet are on the plate, and then I can get some flexion here. Try to get the flexion, as much flexion as possible, driving those heels all the way down, and then explode up. Big squeeze, full extension. Let it down nice and slow. Big squeeze. Let it down nice and slow. And this exercise is a really good one to use free weights and bands together. I'm showing it without free weights just so you can see it a little bit more. But honestly, to have weights and bands on this one, it'll give you a little bit more even, balanced strength profile. So it's definitely something to consider. You don't need it because you can still get a good pump without it. But again, you want to load these calves up. Your calves need weight and reps and volume to grow and get stronger because you're obviously standing on them all day long. And this exercise is great. I encourage you to give it a try. Throw it into your leg day. All right, so there are the 5 exercises I want to cover today. If you made it this far, thank you for sticking around. And feel free to throw these exercises into your next leg workout, or you can stack them all together and make a leg workout out of them. Furthermore, if you liked what you saw today, be sure to smash that like button Also, if you need any of the bands or accessories, Nexus bar, foot plate, showing today, head over to clenchfitness.com. We will hook you up, and thank you for watching.